Hi there. We are in gate 45, line 6 already. The wheel turns, it feels quicker and quicker all the time. Line 6 is called a reconsideration. Ra says that gate 45 has the potential to be very mystical one day, and that this sixth line could also be incredibly mystical because it has a kind of a detachment from the mundane process, the material process. The lifetime learning says an outsider that can admit that its prior rejection was an error will be generally accepted into the gathering. If you have a powerful role position in design, maybe you're an alpha or you have this 45 and you're a ruler and you don't fulfill that role, you can actually create a lot of annoyance amongst other people. Ra said that he knew a lot of 731s who were constantly being pushed into the role of leadership, no matter what they do. And if they didn't play the role of leader, then other people around them would get annoyed. They'd wonder if they were sick or if there was a problem or there was something going on. And they kept insisting that they played this role because that was what was expected of them. We can feel this energy in each other, not consciously most of the time, but that energetic exchange is going on all the time. So the 45-6 is expected to be a ruler and doesn't rule anything at all. They don't need to. They've learned in their process that having is painful and not having is painful. And that actually they don't really need to have anything at all anymore. It's a peaceful, innocent place to be. Both words being keynotes for the sixth line, innocence and peace. This is also a manifestor gate, so peace is part of the process from that angle too. An outsider who can admit that its prior rejection was an error will generally be accepted into the gathering. Why an outsider? Well, the 45-6 is always an outsider themselves, and therefore they identify with outsider mentality. They can see those who are not educated, but who need education, who could be of value to the community, of service to the community, and they have a capacity to be able to direct them. Because they're an outsider themselves, their sixth line is best equipped at bringing in the outsider, the one that feels like they have no real place in the community. They can give them that place. They reconsider the role that these people could play within the tribe, even if they've been rejected previously, and they help to reintegrate them into the community and into society. So this is a really important role. There may have been a few years where they tripped up in their process. They have their third line phase after all. They have to mature and they have to wait and watch and they have to learn about it. Learn about what having and not having is all about and when to do something about it or what to do. The exaltation says an innate empathy with the outsider mentality and its eccentric and often misunderstood logic. A material direction which serves the outsider. And in the detriment we have, where Uranus will innovate to find a place for an outsider, Jupiter will demand that it conforms. A material direction that is focused on conditioning the outsider to conform. Ra says they're both basically the same thing, but the wonderful gift of the 45-6 is that they can see how anybody can have a place in the material world. The 45-6 is able to understand the outsider and how that person who does not really fit in can have a place. Either a place where it gets to retain its unusualness and can be productive, or a place where it has to learn to conform in order to be productive. Either way, it is a gift of the 45-6 to make sure that everyone is integrated. And there's a wonderful completeness to this gate here in the sixth line. In the first line, we saw that the ruler must have an education, and they don't need it. Well, they do at the beginning. I'll be quiet. There is that feeling that education is a priority for the 45th hexagram. And then the final thing, when we get here in the 6th line, is that whoever there is in society, they must have a chance to make a living with dignity. So the greatest freak, the weirdest individual, the most hopeless case, we have to be able to find a way of them being productive in our tribe. They have to be educated, maybe, to share in the work of the family, because a major keynote of the tribe is support. And this actually is the deepest support, this possibility to reintegrate, to reconsider and reintegrate, to educate someone to ensure their material benefit. So the 45-6 is very important for trying to find a way to get the outsiders involved and productive in society. The 45-6 is extraordinary because it goes directly to the 12-1. This is where we go tomorrow. The 12th gate is the gate of standstill and caution. It's from here that the mutation is spread. It is out of the 12th gate, which is an individual mutative gate. And that's where we first got our voice. It's the gate in which all the mutation gets to manifest out into the world. The reality is that the 45-6 is looking directly at this mutative process and its social capacity to spread that mutation. The 45-6 is the kind of tribal leader that makes the tribe quite nervous, because it is only the tribal leader that recognizes that unless we integrate with strangers, with outsiders, if we don't bring them into the tribe and into the genetic pool of the tribe is going to die. Imagine being in a family business and the head of the family business says the only way our business is going to grow is if we stop having it as a family business. We're going to put all our shares on the stock market and we're going to become a cooperation, and we'll bring in all these outsiders to help us in this process as we expand. For members of the tribe, members of that family who've been in the family business forever, that can feel very frightening, very threatening, because all of a sudden it is no longer a family, community, tribal business. All of a sudden, outsiders are coming in. And that is a threat to the tribe, because the tribe likes its traditions. It likes to have its continuity. It doesn't expect its leaders to be heretics. But the reality is that the leader can turn around on them and say, yes, but I want to bring in all these outsiders because I think it will be beneficial to our society. That is what the 45 is all about, bringing benefit to the tribe. And so what happens here? We're seeing it in a way in many countries around the world now, where there are all kinds of immigration, people moving around the world, outsiders being brought in. And then you have the native people, the tribe, who will put up with innovation for a while, but only for a while. And then they get upset because the balance changes and the tribe get very uncomfortable with that. So there's a paradox here, of course, because if you don't bring the strangers in, the tribe is going to fail. It will die. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. The 26, line 6, the grounding here is called authority. This is a keynote for all our 6 lines, really. The 26th, like the 45, has great authority over the tribe. Together, they provide the resources, they protect the territory, they work for the benefit of the tribe. And when you are considering bringing outsiders in, when you're educating the uneducated in order to give them positions within the tribe where they can be of service, some authority is necessary. So the moon is still in gate 59, the gate of sexuality, and then it moves into gate 40 at 1807. This is the tribal ego gate of denial and aloneness. Perhaps we said yes to an intimacy in gate 59 that didn't turn out so well. And gate 40 brings us time to reflect on that, to be alone in our process, to struggle our way to liberation or to find the point of transition between the two. that sweet spot, like the space between the notes. And then we move into gate 64 at 5:26 tomorrow morning, the gate of confusion in the head center. It's a visual, abstract gate that desperately wants to make sense of his experiences, but that's not its gift. It has the gift of confusion. And it's interesting that gate 40 says above the line, the point of transition between struggle and liberation, because here in the 64, we have transition like birth requires a determined strength for the passage through. There's no truth in the now here. Much like the emotional gates, there is a process that has to be experienced. Abstract circuitry passes through the solar plexus, so waiting and watching the wave and taking time is part of the journey that has to be experienced here. And that's the forecast for today. Tomorrow, a new gate. We move into gate 12, line 1, as we've just heard. So thank you very much for tuning in, for watching, for listening, for spending your time listening to me and to my interpretation of what I read of Ra in the various bits of material that I pull together. And thank you for your comments. I always enjoy reading them. And I will see you tomorrow for a new gate. Go gently. Take care. Bye-bye.